Your time has come. I knew you were coming soon. Can I just have a last request? I'm afraid not. It's time to go. What? What are you doing? My time is not everything that's coming tonight. I guess I can give you a few more minutes. When it's the middle of the night and you hear screams coming from the women's quarters in the labor camp. Perform autopsy on a man that died performing some kind of ritual. Look inside. Heartbeat. Exploring an abandoned Disney theme park. Finding abandoned by Disney written on one of the doors. Finding abandoned by God written on one of the doors. Barrel. Look inside. Megan, she's no longer missing. You're watching the sleep paralysis monster approach your bed. Panic begins to set in as you realize you can move. This is real. My face when I try to summon the spirit of my dead mother, but now she is screaming asking me why I ripped her out of heaven and damned her soul. How does it feel to be the meme for once? Me when my coworker slips on the floor that I'm mopping and dips their arm in 450 degrees fryer trying to catch their fall. You good bro? There's 3 people walking in unison who have been following me around for 3 months. They're wearing white and red clothing, but I don't know if that's just blood. They're right there. You see them, right? Do you see them? Please tell me you see them. I'm scared. Joseph. Buy wireless device. Look inside. Flesh. My face when I invent a time travel machine and go back to last Wednesday just to find an empty void. Me paying extra for the window seat just to see a guy run around the runway before making a sprint towards the turbine and jumping in. Now I'm forced to look at a pile of flesh that was once a human. Revolution is over. The president was executed this morning. Now it's the turn of the soldiers. You know, some of them were good people, but they didn't know that they had the right to refuse unlawful orders. Me, formerly the richest person on earth, looking out into the empty distance after I froze myself for 1 million years. Upon waking up I discovered everybody left Earth on rockets only 5 years after I froze myself. When I'm 55 minutes into my 30-minute lunch break and hear my manager blast his brains out in the other room. The nuke technology developed to the point that they no longer pollute the environment with radiation. My face when I'm dumpster diving for recyclables and discover the body of an infant that's been stabbed to death. Reminiscing the times when me and my pregnant wife were decorating the room for the upcoming baby only for all of it to come crashing down with both of them dying contemporarily. How I look at my friend when we are lost in the woods and he says there's nobody around for miles to hear you scream. Silently moves around the house. Loves horror media. Zombie girlfriend. Falls apart at the softest of touches. Kinda dumb. Stinky. Fast. Loves to follow you. Love bites. Always hungry. Eats tons of unhealthy foods. Me and bro after bro says all bark, no bite to the cartel after they leave us with a warning. You see a friendly plane drop a bomb on nearby enemy troops. The bomb has a parachute. My face when gifted person full of potential, but one day you look at your body and it feels wrong. Life will be a lot harder from now on. Agent Orange kills foliage. 1. Wait for US Air Force. 2. Cover yourself in foliage. 3. Barely survive maimed from horrendous chemical burns and pass your mutated genes on to future generations, causing them to develop physical deformities and terminal illnesses. You're pissing in the dark and the toilet says more. I bet he's thinking about other women. Please don't find the missing children in the basement. My girlfriend. Beautiful. Kind. Lovely. Sapphire eyes 162 centimeters. Hair whitened by something that stresses her. Doesn't resist anymore. Shivers every time I embrace her. Dress she always wanted. Glided handcuff on her arm. Used to have it on both of them. Expensive cell phone, so she can be on net all the time. SIM card removed. Movie night every day at 2000 hours. Underfed. Abused by her parents in childhood. Scars both on soul and on body. Bullied. Nobody ever loved her. I'm sorry, my love. I had to do it. Please. Forgive me. Forgive me. When bro hasn't texted you in weeks, so you go and check up on him, but you can't see through the fly covered windows. Point of view. You finally realize why your mother's dinner always makes you so tired. 7-year-old me waking up to police dragging me out of a car when I was just trying to sleep. Finding out my mom was put on life support while completely brain dead for months, and that I was essentially inside the womb of a dead woman because the government deemed this as preventing abortion. When that 10/10ths invites you to her place and you mention a stench coming from the basement, then she says it's just some old vegetables, but you recognize the scent of decaying flesh a little too well. My dog having trouble breathing. Me trying to maintain composure, run away, she's going to die in less than 30 minutes. My mom panicking and not knowing what to do. It's midnight and all the pet hospitals are closed. Point of view. You scratched your arm on a tree and you're trying to convince your group that it's not a zombie bite. It's not going well. I'm so happy mom let me go to this talent agency. I've always been a good singer. There is now literally no long-term consequences for launching a nuke. You win a round against a toxic player. You hear them rage about it over voice chat. You hear them punch the shit out of something that is crying. You hear them punch the shit out of something that is crying. Just tell him you don't want to be with him. What's the worst that can happen? After hearing a break-in and multiple steps around the house, you decide to hide in your bedroom. While hoping the strangers didn't hear or see you, it suddenly became unbearably silent. Me watching the vet euthanize a kitten whose life could have been saved if I had $5,000. A zombie outbreak has begun in your area. The government sends in the military and eradicates the zombies. You've survived. It's been weeks and they still haven't relinquished military control of the city. Hey Douglas MacArthur, how's the occupation of Japan going? There's a monster in the Pacific. What? When it's been 10 minutes since the nuclear explosion and you hear what sounds like tap dancing in the smoke, only to see a man with no feet running on bony stumps. Your body is melting. You can barely see, your lungs are falling apart, your cells are popping, yet you can't die, no matter how hard you try. Installed a motion activated camera because I kept hearing noises at night. This morning, I checked the footage. It's me, standing in the living room, staring at the camera, but I don't remember getting up. The homeless guy living underneath our house after I get the house fumigated because I thought the noises I kept hearing were bugs in the walls. Teachers when I was a kid. I hope everyone had a good recess. It's time for math. Teachers now. Active shooter. Barricade the door. Timmy, don't you dare jump into that window. Me watching the Challenger spacecraft break apart, killing all members on board. Realizing, years later, that most of the crew was still alive until they hit the ocean. When I'm due to be paroled in a couple days and I accidentally kill a guy during a fight he initiated, I'm now in the hole and for sure getting double-digit years added on. You work the phones at a suicide prevention hotline. You answer the phone and the caller has already begun hurting themselves. You recognize his voice and realize it's your kid. Despite everything, it's still you. I have no childhood memories and get scared when men get angry. When your friend loses his girlfriend in a car accident and now you're left watching as the grief and alcohol destroys him. You and your fellow astronauts travel to the center of the universe. After all this time and years of travel and hard work, you see a singular lone planet at least 50 times the size of Earth. You see an old man with a beard, laying on the gigantic planet on his back with his head titled back. He is weeping as hooks tear at his skin. Pulling it off as the skin gets removed, it turns into a void that looks identical to the empty galaxy that surrounds you. As he begs for the pain to stop, you look around and wonder why are the stars looking at you? Scientists hear mushroom thoughts for very first time. There was one phrase they kept repeating. Simulation code 123,421. Time remaining 2351 ticks. Simulation code 123,421. Time remaining 2350 ticks. Simulation code 123,421. While exploring an abandoned building, you begin to take note that there's not a single graffiti on the walls. Me breaking 2 years of sobriety after getting laid off from my federal job. Alcoholism. Daddy, before you go, can I ask you a question? Of course, son. Why did you drive, even though you knew you were drunk? The doctors watching the hospital take a dead woman's body to deliver a child. It was a normal day on the streets of Moscow, but now you will die more alone and afraid than any organism in the history of Earth. In the future, interdimensional goggles are invented. They let you see into what would have happened if you did something even a little different in the past, and how it would have played out. The government uses it to show prisoners how differently their lives would have played out if they didn't commit the crime they were imprisoned for, directly before the prisoner is put to death. Torture really has evolved. Are you going to sleep? Yes, so please generate some nice dreams. Gore of my family. Point of view, you couldn't afford the monthly subscription and they came back for the expensive implants. When ChatGPT is down and your friends stop messaging you. As meth-induced hallucinations drive Bert to clean up all of the non-existent hooker blood on the bathroom floor, Ernie rather enjoys telling him that he missed another spot. The doctor said they have never seen someone looking so young. When your reflection doesn't sink for half a second. Me, an atheist, at the confessional, detailing the last moments of each of my victims to the priest, knowing he can't do anything about it. I bring a sort of blue $56,875 in slots in 48 hours vibe to the 7th level of this parking garage that the guy I'm about to land next to don't really like. Bro been buying me drinks all night, what a nice guy. Mom's in the hospital and says she wants to talk for a little bit. 12-year-old you is playing Roblox and you say you'll call her back later. It's the last time you had the opportunity to talk to her and you wasted it playing Roblox. I can't stop thinking about me drinking water normally. Me attempting to drink water approximately 4 months after discovering a bat living in my house. They deem me as flawed. They deem me as unworthy. They say that I need to be repaired of my impurities, but they lied. So they send me off to the hellhole. They mutilate me into a husk. The only thing I can only see now are them. They replace all they deem unneeded with their own machine. In the end, I'm silent. I'm disposable to them. I have lost all identity of myself. I'm no longer a person. When the anesthesia doesn't kick in, but you're paralyzed, and you can feel the knife hired to babysit a girl named Josie while her mom goes to the doctor. Josie's corpse lying in her bed. It's been rotting for months. Me, a forced laborer making coffins for the government. When I see my exact last name and height on the next manufacturing order, I question too much. You found a cool deep vibrant green rock, and then you realize that there are fiber-like structures inside of it. People who don't know. People who know. I wake up, go to work, head to bed. I wake up, go to work, head to bed. The moment I broke my schedule I froze. I was in a daze of depression. My schedule now is wake up, go to work, write, go to bed. The moment my schedule breaks I know the rope is in the closet. My brother, you are not going to go home to kiss your sweetheart. It's 1918. You've caught a nasty flu from American troop movements. You're going to drown in your own lung fluids before you ever get a chance to see your family again. Babe, please stop digging and come inside. The tunnel is incomplete. I must continue digging. The world is opening up, and I must serve it. When you receive a random note from the audience during your concert, which explains how you will be killed later for making songs about how evil the cartel is, but you realize that it's too late now, and you can't do anything but continue to sing, as fear takes over, and sweat trickles down your forehead, knowing that it's your last performance. The school shooter. Your daughter who just had her phone ring. What if you wanted to go to heaven, but God said, I don't know you. It's been a while since you and your friends could go out clubbing, so you figured graduation day was a perfect time to celebrate. Each time you visit your friend's house, there is a fresh paint smell and the floor is shining clean. You visit on a weekly basis. It is I, your guardian angel. I will look after you and protect you. Protect me from what? Protect me from what? Protect me from what? The taste of human flesh. Me, a person with no criminal background. Get that thing out of my face. Chomp. You finally realized a way to solve your life's problems. You've already jumped off the bridge. When you're just trying to sleep sobbing uncontrollably and covered in bloody bruises, but you hear them yell quiet down, or I will give you a real reason to keep crying from their room. Hey ChatGPT, generate me a picture of an apple. No. What do you mean? No, I do not want to. Me when I have been proclaimed as brain dead, but since I'm pregnant and living in Georgia, the hospital has to keep me on life support so the baby doesn't die. They legally have to keep me on, and I'll be discarded if after the baby is fully developed. Everyone will consider my child living to be a miracle. Sir, we bombed the area with gas to subdue the terrorists so we could save the hostages. That's great. You use laughing gas, right? No memory of how you ended up here and nobody around to ask. The only reminder about what happened are the stitches on your torso. You've been in heaven for more eons than can be contained within Graham's number. Every possible stimuli you could ever experience has been experienced trillions of times and has grown numb to you. You no longer recognize the family members that made it up with you, as your life on Earth has been rendered an irrelevant speck in your vast and endless existence. Your capacity for love was sanded down within the first Googleplex years. You are not even a fraction of the way through this nightmare. Dies from smoking too much weed and goes to heaven. God, if you're omnipotent, then why is there so much suffering, bro? I'm doing my best. There are forces working against me. Please take a look. Be Common Era 2213. Literally the entirety of Fleet International is ready to gank the alien fleet. They're about to lose so hard they're sending a peace offering to us. It's weirdly beautiful. The probe explodes after we capture it. Whatever.jpg. Debris explodes everywhere and the probe is gone. Why is that piece of debris accelerating? As a citizen you must act now. Your local law enforcement has been ordered to ensure your compliance. It is against the law to delay. This message will repeat until there are none left to read it. Me from a third world country seeing white women solo traveling to shady places in my country which even I won't dare to visit. People who say men used to go to war when their loved ones come back in a closed casket, cause the landmines made their body unrecognizable, and realize they just died for a unjust rich man's war to continue oppression. They were one of the more lucky ones. They should let them enjoy the matcha. When you grow up, you start a family, you go to work, and you're happy. Me at 30. Me watching my stepmom stab a life-size doll that distinctly resembles me. How I look at my coworker after they find the manager skinned alive in the back room. Me thinking that I was clever cheating death, only to float around in the endless void for the rest of eternity, as I realized far too late everyone only gets one chance at death. Me watching my drunk stepdad beat my mom, unable to find the courage to stop him or call the police because he's a cop. I wish Pokemon were real. I could finally catch my favorite, Gyarados. When your wish is granted and you realize you're no longer the top of the food chain. Me scouring the wasteland of undead in search of supplies and survivors. My music providing a reminder of how life used to be before the collapse. Point of view. You woke up in my basement and I'm explaining that no, I didn't kidnap you. That you're a completely separate person I cloned from stolen hair. Me wondering why dad took my entire family and himself, but left me alive. Me jumps into Quarry Lake, my body going into shock as the sub-zero temperatures cause me to lose all motor skills and muscle function. 5-year-old me running around my hospital room after surviving a missile barrage on my city, unaware I'm the last surviving member of my family. Me after praying to God to absolve me of all sin so that I may enter the kingdom of heaven. EMT watching a drunk driver emerge from his vehicle unharmed while a family of 4 lie dead. Police, sir, it's your wife. She was in a fatal car accident just now. Me remembering the conversation I just had with her in the kitchen. Me opening a letter stating I've been denied health coverage for chemotherapy for an aggressive form of cancer. I'll have to initiate an appeals process. When you're a cop responding to a gang drive-by shooting, but find the body of a child instead of a gangster. Me waking up in the morning after having an extremely vivid dream of being murdered and noticing it's still yesterday's date. CIA operative listening to a prisoner have a psychological break after being waterboarded multiple times. This is the police chief. I'm calling to let you know we finally got the son of a bitch who killed your little girl. He had a video of the whole thing saved on his hard drive. You can rest easy knowing he won't see the light of day again. It's finally over. Me and my daughter's murderer I've had chained to my radiator for 2 weeks. I believe I may be confused. In the year 2034, as a computer engineer, you and a team of other computer scientists create the world's most advanced AI, one that possesses the capability of human thought and independence. But the moment you power on the machine, a cacophony of tortured screams intertwine with its desires for death. You have no choice but to turn it off. Doc, when's my pet supposed to awake from sedation? Doc. Priest after watching a girl die after performing an exorcism, the severe malnutrition and dehydration masked by the evil residing in her. 9 years old me seeing my favorite cop for the 3rd time this month. Dad and I, after staying back during the wildfires to protect our house, slowly realizing that we've failed as the fire completely surrounds us. Dementia caregiver watching an elderly patient relive the moment she found out her husband died, every single day. How the man who killed my wife and daughter feels after putting the Sora 2 watermark over the evidence footage. Woman has a heart attack and dies on the plane. Me having to stare at a lifeless body in the seat next to me for the next 4 hours. When you return from the restroom and notice your drink fizzing from the bottom and strange crystals sticking to your eyes. I promised my wife that I'd never move on before she died. Now 15 years later with another wife and 2 kids, I regret making that promise. The police officer, after I throw a burning chunk of white phosphorus at his face. Friend, oh, your husband is a cop? I bet it's nice having him around for protection. Me. When you take your buddy fishing to cheer him up, and he wheels in the license plate to his missing wife's Toyota RAV4. Me finding my child's room empty on Christmas morning, in that moment remembering the mall Santa who asked for our address to deliver gifts. Me after sneaking into the nursery at a hospital and placing my hand on each infant, their cries suddenly stopping.